have you with us once again here on Leading Edge. I'm your host, Jeff Smith. Coming up in a few minutes, the state of higher education with the president of one of southeastern Michigan's growing universities and schools. But first, Toledo voters will have a choice this coming November, and that choice just got a little more interesting thanks to an announcement from a familiar name and a familiar face. Roberto Torres is a Toledo native and is no stranger to Toledo politics. City of Toledo, Toledo Public Schools, community activist. Recognize that guy? And would you think that he actually, a lot of the things that I just rattled off, you would probably think would lead me into an introduction of a representative of the Lucas County Democratic Party. But no, not the case. He has announced he is running for mayor of Toledo as an independent. We want to welcome back to Toledo and Leading Edge, Roberto Torres. Good to see you.
Thank you for the invite. Thank you, Jeff.
Absolutely. Talk to me about, did this running for mayor, did it find you? Did you find it?
Actually, you know, I say to folks that this is really a people's campaign. And the reason why I say that is I've not lived far from Toledo, 3 hours at the most, wherever I've been. Canton, Cleveland, Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Detroit. And so each time that I come back, folks have always asked me, when are you going to come back and run for mayor? The reason for that is that I had been elected before. And you know, you talk about being independent. Well, at the time that I ran, there was actually a divided Democratic Party. So I actually ran on a ticket that was an independent ticket for the Democratic Party. So I'm not a stranger to actually running with a platform that's about change.
Well, you talk about change. Let's talk specific to your politics, though. I mean, where are you on economic measures? Are you more conservative? Are you more on the left side of things? What about social issues? Where do you stand on that?
So I've always been a doer. You know, that goes back to my Marine Corps background. So economic development is my skill set.
It's in your wheelhouse.
I've been a director of development in Canton, Ohio. I did immigrant affairs and economic development in Detroit. And when I was working for Premier Finkbeiner, I was manager at economic development.
Yeah. What is it that draws you to that? And what is it that lures you back to wanting to provide that for the region?
I think development needs vision. You don't do development by doing things the way that you've always done it. It's like you're always seeking to, competition has to be in you, because you're always competing with other jurisdictions. When I was in Canton, Ohio, we never said that I was bringing and attracting businesses into Canton, competing with Akron. My competition was Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh. And so you have to look at it from a larger scale. And so for me, development has always been an area where you need to be creative. You need to be able to have solutions to investment that goes beyond just local. A lot of times, many cities rely just on federal funding, and I've seen it in other communities where the thought is, let's go beyond that. Let's talk about international investment. Let's talk about private investment when it comes to development. It doesn't always have to be the city funding that generates the business attraction, but it has to be led by the city. So the city has to lay out a platform that makes it attractive for someone to come into the city.
I want to get your perspective from a couple of different views. And one, you and I met when you were originally, it's been a long time ago, but it was back in the late 90s when you were a member of Toledo School Board. Your vision of Toledo from that purview, and then you go to Canton, then you go to Detroit, and you are part of an unbelievable renaissance for the Motor City. But still, looking back at what's happening in the Glass City, were you watching? What did you see?
So I'll share this. So in working for Cardi, Cardi was very good about asking us to look at potential developers for the city. And I remember he pulled out a clipping of a gentleman who was flying over Columbus. He was an international developer. And he said, I want you guys to bring that to Toledo. Shortly after that, I went to Canton, Ohio. I was over in Columbus at Ohio State University at a presentation. That gentleman, Stuart Lichter, international developer, Russian immigrant, was actually presenting there at Ohio State. And
that was totally coincidental.
Totally coincidental. Yeah. This is the guy that Cardi said, I want you to bring him to Toledo. I start talking to him. He goes, "You're in Canton." He goes, "I'd love to do a project over there in Canton." And so we invited him over. He's the gentleman that's behind the Hall of Fame Village. He was also the person that was behind the redevelopment of the Goodyear headquarters there in Akron. And so I share that to say that's the type of experience and attitude one has to have to actually help Toledo grow. So we can talk about it here or do it where other communities are doing it.
Now, I try to hear the viewers when they're watching, and you bring up the Finkbeiner administration, and I have to be fair in this. There were hits, there were misses, right, as far as development were concerned. Now, a lot of things had to do with that, the economy, so on and so forth.
Sure.
I want to take you north. I want you, before we go to our first break, I want you to talk a little bit about the experience that you had in Detroit with Mayor Duggan and what was being done to kind of the rebirth of the Motor City.
So housing has to be a big part of it. So one of the things that Mayor Duggan addresses the need to be able to not only bring affordable housing in, but also market rate housing. We needed to bring a greater population into the downtown. And so a lot of what the city has done, and I was in the Housing Revitalization Department, which is responsible for a lot of the funding for housing and affordable housing. And what we did there is we obtained the resources to be able to incentivize the developers to come into the downtown. But rather than to just say, let the developers consider coming in, we actually presented a housing conference where we would say, these are the plans, this is the funding that we're putting forth. Yeah. And then we put it up for developers to actually bid on the project.
Are there too many handcuffs, and we're going to go to break, are there too many handcuffs on developers to come into the city of Toledo in your view?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think that...
I didn't know if that was something you think needs changed.
No, what I mean by that is that I don't think there's a sufficient number of individuals actually attracting developers into the city.
And you need more help in that.
And what I'm saying is you actually need a person with a background in economic development to be able to actually beget development.
And find them and bring them. We'll be right back. We're going to continue our conversation with Roberto Torres. You stick around for another segment?
Will do.
We'll be right back. Toledo native, Toledo mayoral candidate, still getting those petitions signed at this point. Roberto Torres joining us. I want to talk a little bit about, people say Toledo, downtown Toledo, obviously there's been a renaissance, but they say it's almost there. Not there quite yet. Housing has always been a concern. I brought up to you the example of Meijer. Right. Meijer has put urban grocery stores in Grand Rapids. You said there's one in Detroit. We can't get one here because the demographics don't line up. How do you make that happen?
Yeah, you know, you mentioned Meijer. It's right down the street from where I lived along the Riverwalk in Detroit. And new Meijer just went in Grand Rapids. You mentioned that. Yeah. A lot of it happens because you're bringing population downtown. Now, if you look at population in the census, we've lost in the last 10 years, we've lost more than 10,000 residents in the city. So the issue is...
So you immediately say that's because of jobs?
It's because Toledo is not providing the environment for people to stay. Mm-hmm. You have to give people the opportunity to make a commitment. And if there aren't jobs there, if there isn't sufficient housing, then folks are going to go where they can find it. And I think with one of the challenges that you currently have right now is you have an administration that does not pursue policies that actually support development. You know, we just a couple of days ago, you know, you have a developer that did some renovation at a loft downtown, and what do we do as government? You know, we take them to litigation and we say that, you know, you've got to pay back this amount of money. They completed their end by being able to do the units and the development, and then because of some terms that perhaps the jurisdiction wants to see, the government jurisdiction wants to see, that didn't get realized. Now all of a sudden we're going to put it on the developers. You know, when you have a situation like that, it's telling all other developers that this is not a business-friendly environment for one to invest in. So we have to change that. We need to actually have policies that support developers. And in the last few weeks, I've been meeting with developers and listening to what they're saying. I took a walk into downtown just the other day. Yeah. And there's a lot of vacant buildings, a lot of vacant storefronts.
I want to ask you, I want to move on real quick. I want to ask about the referendum that was passed and giving the mayoral position a chance at three straight consecutive terms. That is do you see that as a hill you have to overcome?
You know, not really, Jeff, because if you look at the initial referendum that was put up, that was defeated. So the voters said no to the additional term. This time around, the
that had a lot of stuff. A lot of other stuff linked to it.
Of course. Yeah. But you also had folks making the distinction. And this time around, the language was such that folks didn't really understand what they were voting for. When you put language that says, should we have terms that are equal to council, that should the mayor be equal to terms of council? That's not really putting the question out there as to should the mayor now have 3 terms, because voters before said we should have the term limits. So based on the numbers that came in, I'm encouraged that a number of Toledoans said no. So even those that passed that charter amendment, that wasn't an overwhelming statement. So I think that in looking at that, it proves that there's an opportunity.
Final minute, I want to talk a little bit about neighborhoods. That is one of your platforms, the neglect that has gone on for so long. I did an interview with Gus Mancy 3-4 years ago where he talked about the 5 Points area. His restaurant's been there over 100 years, but still neglect. Not enough attention paid to some of those neighborhoods, specifically right there at Phillips Avenue.
Yeah, I mean, there's not only just housing, but the roadways. I mean, there's a lot of repair that needs to be done. Infrastructure has been one of the things that has been lacking with this administration. Current infrastructure work that's out there right now is causing a lot of havoc for businesses and residents. And so I think that there needs to be more of an understanding and better planning when it comes to the city. Now, on the housing end of it, there isn't enough that the city is doing for attracting affordable housing or opportunities for affordable housing. In fact, there's policies that actually penalize developers. There are nonprofit organizations that are responsible for housing here in Toledo that are coming to me and they're telling me that if it weren't for a certain policy, we'd have 100 homes available for affordable housing. So I think a lot of it has to do with the policies that we set that discourage investment in housing availability.
Last 15 seconds, where do people find out more about your campaign and where will you be next?
So I'll be at just about every local restaurant. So we've been doing Wednesdays at restaurants, and so we're likely to be at Uncle John's. They have a great new location over there by the University of Toledo. So that'll be the next one. We're hitting that on Wednesdays, and they can reach out to my campaign team. Renee Clark is the person that's in charge of our petitions and the initial stage of the campaign.
And we hope to hear more from you in the coming weeks.
Hey, you're going to have that, because I'm not a person of few words, and this Marine continues to march forward.
All right, Roberto Torres, we appreciate the time. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back once again. Adrian College has been around since 1859. In just the last few years, there has been such significant growth in both academic offerings and campus facilities. It's like running your own city. That's what Dr. Jeffrey Dockig says. He is the president of Adrian College. Nice enough to join us here on Leading Edge. Good to see you.
Hey, honored to be here. Thanks for giving me a few minutes on your great station.
Of course, we appreciate it as always. Let's talk a little bit about the school growth and how has it grown? Why is it growing to the capacity that you see?
Yeah, well, we've doubled in enrollment over the last few years, and most schools are really searching for students right now. And I think we've done it by focusing on 2 things. One is we're very comfortable with 20, 25 kids in a class, realizing that there are a lot of kids that are okay with 500, 600 students in a big auditorium. That's not us. If you want that, we have high-touch education. Really.
What is total attendance on campus?
It's about 1,800.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
1,800. We got down to 840 several years ago, so we've grown a lot. But the other thing that we've done, Jeff, is really focused on the out-of-class experience. And we said, you know what? kids want sports. We're Division III. It's non-scholarship, but we have several hockey teams. We're very good in baseball, as you may know. Football team on the rise. We even have varsity bass fishing. So kids that like to fish can fish at Adrian. So it's really been sort of a special time for us. And, you know, you start getting the big mo going, and it takes care of itself.
The other thing we wanted to talk about a little bit was the cost of education. I had the BGSU president, Dr. Rodney Rogers, sitting exactly where you were or are just a few weeks ago. And we were just saying there's an identification, right, by administration that, yeah, school costs a lot right now. What are you guys doing to not only recognize that, but try to, I guess, let parents know, let students know they're getting the best bang for their buck?
Yeah, great question, and that is the issue. I mean, when you look at the biggest thing folks are concerned about right now is the price of education, and it is too expensive. Even upper middle class families are saying, I don't know if I can do this, and the kids, they don't want the debt, you know, in their early 20s. And so because we've grown so much, we've been able to put a lot back into financial aid. And so even though our list price, sticker price, if you will, is over $50,000 a year, the average kid doesn't pay a whole lot more than in Michigan State at about $23,000, $24,000 a year. But the big thing that we've done, Jeff, over the last few years is we've started a consortium of colleges that share classes, which has allowed us, for example, to start 28 new academic majors and all these fields that kids want to go into: cybersecurity, AI, computer science, even
logistics.
Logistics, a big one. Great jobs in logistics right now, and we haven't had to add professors. That we bring in a few classes during their 4 years from other institutions. They share with us. Post-COVID, kids are open to taking a few classes online, and it's just really blown up where kids now, we got 150 kids that came in our freshman class this year checking the box for one of these new majors.
Facilities, sports, how important are those to you guys as far as the brand is concerned?
Huge. And we say you got to get in the head of an 18-year-old. And when kids get out of high school, they look first at the facilities. And we've put about $150 million into facilities during my 20 years as president. And facilities speak. The other thing that a lot of people don't realize is kids make their decision usually within the first 12, 15 minutes of getting out of their car. And so if you can give them a great education inside the classroom, have beautiful facilities, surround them with people that are really interested in them as people and having them learn what they love to do 40 hours a week in their job someday, they're usually all in.
The president has talked about dismantling, going hard at the Department of Education. How closely are you watching this? What does it mean to a president of an institution like yours?
Hey, I think it's...
Does it need some working?
It does. It does, and I am not somebody who's come out publicly and said where I come down on that, because I think that higher education ought to look seriously at what the alternatives are to the DOE. You know, we are expected to keep prices down, but the regulations that we've been saddled with over the last 4 years have required us to just hire all kinds of people to fill out reports. Now, that's changing quickly, but if they block grant this back to the states, give the states the money that the feds are spending right now, as long as the financial aid is there with kids getting their Pell and their SEOG and their money to go to college, especially the neediest kids, then I don't think that's a bad thing. And so giving it back to the states is something I think we should seriously look at and consider.
Well, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about as well, last year, a lot of questions from some factors saying they're bringing Riley Gaines in for commencement address.
Yeah.
Then there were those who said, good for Adrian College, bringing in Riley Gaines for commencement address.
Yeah.
How did you bring her in? One, talk about the reaction and your response to it.
Yeah, well, we're aware of the issue that she was concerned about, and we just reached out to her and said, we would love for you to be our commencement speaker. We're an institution.
And for those who don't know, she's a former swimmer. She competed against a male in her sport, and that kind of got her started on this kind of fight, this drive that we have seen grab new momentum, of course, during the election period.
That's right. Swam for the University of Kentucky, and on the starting blocks thought, the best I can hope for is second place here in the national championships, because she was going against a male who transitioned. And so we are big on supporting women in sports. We're also big on bringing conservatives on the campus so that there can be a plurality of opinion. I tell all of our professors, kids deserve a balanced education. If they're going to hear the liberal side of an issue, they ought to hear the conservative side as well. And then
sounds like what we see in our newsroom every single day, Doctor.
I love it. Right down the middle of the fairway,
we hope.
That's right. And so there was a lot of blowback.
How challenging is that? How challenging is that?
Oh, it's tough. It's tough. A lot of blowback. The FBI got in touch with us shortly after it was announced and said, are you reading what's being said about you and your college on the web? We want to have a presence on campus. We're worried about whether there's going to be violence. We had teams of police. A lot of people don't know this because they were hidden, but you know, you really got to be careful these days. And so she did speak. She did a great job. Her message was amazing, and we loved having her, and we'll do it again.
What is ahead for the rest of the year as far as Adrian is concerned, and any growth potential here going into 25-26?
There is growth potential. We've got probably room for 2,000, 2,100 students. We never want to be replicating the big publics, right? So it'll always be.
Well, you said you're steadfast in knowing that those classes are 20 to 24 students, right?
That's right. That's exactly right. And so we'll grow a little bit more. We'll look for opportunities, both majors that students want to go into. Students really want to get good paying jobs now when they get out, if they are taking on some loans. And so we'll continue to look mostly in the high tech field, the healthcare field. That's where the new jobs are coming out. And then obviously we're going to leverage AI to give students an unbelievable experience.
And the word of mouth keeps spreading as far as Adrian College is concerned, and its growth and its expansion as far as sports and academics. Doctor, it's a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Lenawee County, so important to us here at WTOL 11. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back. As a reminder, if you missed any part of our conversation, you can check out the WTOL 11 YouTube page, and also check Leading Edge out on WTOL 11 Plus. It's a free download on your TV. Great to see you as always. We'll see you next time here on Leading Edge. I'm Jeff Smith. Have a great day.